But I want to be fair here, okay? There is one thing that MAGA has believed from the beginning, and they still believe it. And that's that there is a secret cabal of top government officials who meet at shadowy dinners to strategize how to hide the sins of wealthy sex traffickers and pedophiles.
Stephen Colbert just clapped back at Donald Trump after some new shade from the former president. Even Melania got pulled into this drama. Earlier this week, Trump was throwing shade, saying Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy Fallon have zero talent, like none at all. Last night on his show, Colbert fired back. He was like, "Yeah, I already knew that," about Trump's comment on his show's ratings. Then he joked, "To be fair, I think we're all pretty bad in our own way." Colbert even thanked Trump for helping with a fake ad for his show. The ad had a voice saying, "Stephen Colbert's the best late-night host, our older fans say so."
Trump's having a hard time. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Trump's having a hard time proving he and Epstein weren't buddies because, according to those who knew them at the time, the two men bonded over a common interest in hitting on and competing for attractive young women at parties.
The ad then showed Trump's own words about Colbert's ratings, with big text saying, "Everyone's watching," but it's still canceled. But wait, Colbert's not the only one tangled up in Trump and media drama. South Park jumped in, too, throwing shade at tons of people all at once. A few weeks ago, the show poked fun at Trump after news broke that Colbert's show got canceled while Paramount was doing a huge billion-dollar business deal. Now, the newest South Park episode goes wild, making fun of politicians, internet, stars, rising prices, immigration, and even how we all pay for way too many streaming services.
Trump was big mad about this letter coming out, and he offered this ironclad excuse. "This is not me. I never wrote a picture in my life." No, it's true, folks. Listen up. I never wrote a picture. I never painted a novel. I never baked a song, and my brain is not melting and pooling up around my swollen ankles. That's the cankle, technically.
Kristi Noem gets totally roasted in the episode. They draw her like a super exaggerated version of herself, with a weird joke about her face coming off and needing a pit crew to fix it. Trump's shown like a fancy dictator looking like a place from a show called Fantasy Island. JD Vance pops up as a sidekick character from that old show, and older folks watching will totally get the reference.
Over the weekend, it sunk in that they're killing off our show. But they made one mistake. They left me alive. And now for the next 10 months, the gloves are off. I can finally, I can finally speak unvarnished truth to power and say what I really think about Donald Trump, starting right now. I don't care for him.
The episode also makes fun of the manosphere, which is a part of the internet where loud podcasters say wild stuff to get attention and sell their stuff. The show says this kind of talk, which used to seem super out there, is now normal. In politics and social media, money troubles are a big deal in the episode. 2. They talk about the monthly nut, which is just a funny way to say the cost of living, and show how expensive life is now. They connect it to people losing jobs, having tight budgets, and taking any work they can to keep up.
The president was buddies with a pedophile. On Friday, the Wall Street Journal dropped an absolute bombshell. They are reporting that in 2003, Trump sent a birthday letter to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday that was sexually suggestive. Yeah, it's the most inappropriate birthday gift since Carvel debuted Fudgy the Hung Like a Whale. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal, Trump's letter featured several...
The guys who make South Park, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, keep things moving fast, jumping from politics to pop culture to everyday problems. The humor's still that quick, sharp, South Park style, but it feels super current. The show mixes big, famous people, culture fights, and stuff we all deal with, like little annoyances. One cool part is how the show hints that even its craziest characters might be changing, not because they're going soft, but because the real world's so wild. Now, it's hard to be the loudest voice. That's kind of the joke this season.
Trump also explained why he parted ways with Epstein.
For years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate.
Finally, some moral backbone. He did something inappropriate, and that was?
He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me.
Sorry, Jeff, underage sex trafficking is one thing, but I draw the line at you stealing my omelet man, okay?
And there's more. Jeffrey Epstein's victims are speaking out again as news channels keep talking about his case and the politics around it. A few networks like CNN showed interviews with survivors and their families. In those talks, they shared their stories and worries about how Epstein's records are being handled by the government.
To declassify the Epstein files.
Yeah, I would.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is important.
CNN said some people in the government promised to share files about Epstein's life, but it hasn't happened. Sky Roberts, the brother of Virginia Dewey, went on a show called Aaron Burnett Out Front yesterday. He said the government isn't being open about the case and survivors' voices aren't being heard. Roberts called it a human issue and said justice needs to happen. CNN also said Zufri, one of Epstein's well-known accusers, passed away earlier this year in Australia, where she lived.
Everything was amusing to Epstein, and so once we were there at his dining room table, and he brought out these snapshots, maybe a dozen of them. And they were of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump with a variety of the girls who frequented Epstein's house in.
CNN talked about a White House meeting that happened Wednesday night. No Epstein survivors were there. The meeting had Vice President J.D. Vance, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and FBI Director Kash Patel. CNN said it was moved from the vice president's house to the White House because reporters were super curious. The meeting seemed to be about handling a political mess. Annie Farmer, another victim, talked to CNN's Caitlin Collins. She said she tried to reach Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche after he met with Ghislaine Maxwell last month, but he didn't reply. Farmer said she hates how the case is turning political and called it a problem of powerful people hurting others.
Matt and Shane had one of the funniest reactions to the entire Jeffrey Epstein cover-up situation so far during episode 567 of MSSP.
Yeah, you know Epstein's innocent, bro.
That's the funniest development. We are going to unveil the truth once and for all. Turns out the guy was just a
Regular guy.
struggling in the world just like all of us. That was some bullshit, bro. Also, innocent of what?
Annie told CNN she hopes Trump gets that this issue affects more than just the people in the case. It's about the whole community. CNN put this in the context of Epstein and Maxwell's long history with the law. Maxwell, Epstein's partner, was found guilty in 2021 for helping with abuse and is in prison for 20 years. CNN reminded everyone about a 2008 deal in Florida that let Epstein avoid bigger charges and get a lighter sentence.
We at Bombshell News, the Wall Street Journal just published this article showing that Donald Trump wrote a handwritten letter to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday. Folks, this letter is stunning. The letter, according to the Wall Street Journal, is bawdy like others. It contains several lines of typewritten text framed by the outline of a naked woman, which appears to be hand-drawn with a heavy mark. A pair of small arcs denotes the woman's breast, and the future president's signature is squiggly, Donald, below her waist, mimicking pubic hair. This is a conversation.
That 2008 deal got a lot of criticism. Epstein was charged again in 2019 but died in jail. Some survivors told CNN that Maxwell's conviction felt like a small win, but they're worried politics is messing with how the case is talked about. Now, CNN said some Trump supporters talk about stopping child exploitation, but their media doesn't focus much on Epstein's survivors. The network asked if survivors and their families can really change things in Washington. More attention might make the politics trickier.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. It just seems like it.
CNN said the women were kids when the bad stuff happened, and they've talked about how it still affects them. Their families also shared how it hurt them. The reports pointed out that survivors aren't invited to big political meetings. The files still aren't public, and some survivors keep trying to get their voices heard. CNN said they'll keep covering the legal and political sides of the Epstein case, plus any new statements from survivors or their families. What do you think? Share your thoughts below and stay tuned for more.